Okay, today we are playing a game on Oasis. We are playing Reinhardt the entire way through, and we are in the 1700 SR range. So let's look at our team. We've got Reinhardt, Lucio, Soldier, Zenyatta, Genji, and Roadhog. So we have a very average team. I'd usually prefer Ana to Zenyatta, but we have a Genji, so, these two work pretty well together, and it's not like Zenyatta's that much worse, since they nerfed Ana ever so slightly. Ana's still pretty much the best support, but whatever. He's changed to, we were having a talk about how we wanted more support, so he changed to Ana, but he's going to change back to Soldier. Don't worry about it. We've got a very average team. Not much to say about it, really. So, University on Oasis. We arrive way ahead of the enemy team. We don't see them anywhere in sight, so they probably don't have a Lucio. And given that we have arrived here so ahead of it, they're probably only halfway through the other room right now. We could be coming up, we could, just walk up very aggressively up to this staircase and basically try to use it as a choke point. Because we've gotten here so ahead of them that we get to have a more favorable position now. We've gotten onto the point first. Now, we're sitting back very far right now. We're not really shielding anything because half of our, Lucio's standing over there as well. And the people behind us are just sort of standing in the doorway. Like Soldier, he's pretty in cover. We should just, go up and stand closer to the staircase. Especially since they don't have a Reinhardt, it's going to be hard for them to advance into us anyway. So we could basically just try and set up over here and use this as a choke point. But we're positioning very cautiously right now. And we don't really need to be. Also, over this period, our shield could be regenerating this entire time because nothing's really happening. We're trying to shield this Lucio right now, I get that. But he's, gotten away and they're not really pursuing him. We could have it regenerating over this period and, now, definitely nothing's happening. We come over here. Don't even need to have it up over here. Nothing's happening over here, really. We could see the Roadhog wasn't getting pursued either. It could just be regenerating over this entire period of time. And once your shield's below 1,000 hit points, basically you want to take the earliest opportunity to have it be regenerating, because that's pretty fucking low as far as the hit points go. Most Reinhardt players, when they're letting their shield regenerate, they let it regenerate up to 1,000 hit points usually, and then come back out and start standing somewhere again. 1,000 hit points is not very many hit points, especially since you don't want to let your shield break. So what usually happens is you have to take it down about 200 hit points, because otherwise it'll probably break. So 1,000 hit points is really only 800 hit points, which is slightly worse than Orissa's shield. So as soon as it gets 1,000 hit points, you want to take the earliest opportunity to have it regenerating. This is a very bold charge right here. It's going to be hard for them to punish you because their Roadhog's hook is down, but this is the kind of charge that, wouldn't really recommend. Probably thought the Roadhog was going to walk to the left and you were going to pin him, but very brave. We just charged right into the middle of their team. But half their team is dead and Roadhog used his hook, so they can't really punish us for it. Again, we're positioning very cautiously. We should just really be standing at the bottom of this staircase and just sort of making it so they can't walk through us. We basically will say, we'll sit here, we'll use this as a choke point, and we'll say, alright, you either have to walk through me, which is pretty hard to do if you don't have another Reinhardt, or you have to go up here, which people don't usually like to do because they're afraid of getting pushed off, or you've got to come around this side and come through this very narrow hallway that's also hard to work with because you're all kind of choked together in the hallway. So we could be positioning a lot more aggressively right now up here. But we're playing very tentatively, and I'm not quite sure why. Confidence. We throw our fire strike in and get him, right, just blindly. Feels good, man. Yeah, and they're not really trying to push in too aggressively right now. Genji decides he wants to commit suicide, and we oblige him by hitting him in the face with our hammer. It's taken us a while to start to actually charge up this Earth Shatter, but honestly, we haven't seen very much of the enemy team yet. Really, not that much fighting has happened yet, so it's not really that surprising. So we come over here. So right here. It's very brave to take your, shield down with this McCree walking at you, because he's already probably planning to throw the flashbang over your shield. And here's the thing. Here's the scary part about it, though, right? So he's coming over here. He's probably planning to try and flashbang you. Zenyatta's right behind you. If this McCree reacts quickly enough to us doing this, he just throws the flashbang, stuns you and Zenyatta, and could maybe kill the Zenyatta, because he throws it late there, stuns the Zenyatta, and doesn't quite seal the deal on him. But it's very risky to take your shield down when your support is standing right behind you, because they're kind of depending on that shield to be there. That's like why they're standing there. So we almost get Zenyatta killed, but they don't quite seal the deal, and he manages to use Transcendence. So be very careful about taking it down when your supports are standing with you, because this McCree, if he reacts quickly enough, could actually kill Zenyatta from this. It's just he reacts late, doesn't quite seal the deal. He also, like, fans the hammer into our shield, so I'm guessing the idea was fan, roll, fan, which, I mean, whatever, but, like, I see McCree walking like this, I'm like, fuck, he's gonna throw the flashbang at me, and you know, we could get Zenyatta killed with that. But anyway. So, then, we build up Earth Shatter off of this Fire Strike. I wouldn't use this Earth Shatter right here. I'm guessing the plan was that you're gonna get McCree, Mercy, and Roadhog with it. McCree's fucking dead at this point. We got the Fire Strike through him, and we see he's mostly dead. He's got like 50 hit points right now. So McCree's dead regardless. And I don't usually advise trying, like, if you're in a doorway like this, you don't usually wanna Earth Shatter around it, because Earth Shatter gets weird around sharp angles and corners where you can clip the line of sight and it doesn't look like it should have clipped it, but it does, and then it doesn't actually hit anybody. So all we really hit is the Roadhog. I don't usually advise Earth Shattering in something like this, unless you're like Earth Shattering the team in the room with you. Because angles like these get weird with Earth Shatter. But either way, it was unnecessary because McCree was dead, so best case scenario, we were basically gonna ult Roadhog and Mercy, which is not really the best use of Earth Shatter. They get res, but it's a pretty poor res, and we kill them again, even though we didn't have any ultimates to use after the res, because it was not very good res. And now we've got some textbook overextending happening right now, where our team is like, we killed them pretty close to the spawn, maybe we get a little bit closer to the spawn now. And we're trying to get them to come back. Zenyatta's also trying to get them to come back. Lucio doesn't come back. He gets killed. Not much you can do about that. You can't control your team. So they're trying to push in right now. Here comes Roadhog. Our shield is really low HP again. That didn't actually go backwards at all. Like, don't really need to have your shield up right here because you're not blocking anything. Like, you don't need to be standing here. Like, we don't want to be standing here. And you're not really blocking anything, so it could be regenerating over this period, because, like, and even here, yeah, we've got Discord on us, but it's like a no-energy Zarya is the only thing really next to us right now. She ain't gonna kill us, even if we got Discord on us. So it could be, like, regenerating over this period. We could come into this with, like, a shield that's somewhere over 1,000 hit points, rather than under 1,000 hit points, which is gonna be pretty helpful when a Roadhog gets right in your face. And, like, right here, like, this shield is basically useless at this point. Like, you should just try and get in the room behind you and let it regenerate. Because, like 300 HP shit, like, don't put it up. Don't put it up. You've gotta have this regenerating, because this shield right now is completely worthless at that many hit points. So, we come up behind them right here, and honestly, I'd try and charge these people because they don't know you're here. Like, I'd just come around this corner, and I'd try to charge one of them. Like, you gotta angle it, because you could easily throw yourself off the map right now, so you have to angle it like you're gonna go this way with one of them, but, like, they don't know you're here. They're tanks. It's usually easier to just charge one of them, than try and hit them. But, you know, either way, this is going really well. That's like a nitpicky thing, because they're gonna die regardless. We come back, High Noon's happening behind us. Fortunately, he doesn't keep channeling it. Like, this McCree could have played this a lot better. If he just keeps channeling it on us right now, our choices are, we turn around and die and block Roadhog and die to High Noon, or we keep blocking High Noon and die to Roadhog. So this McCree misplays here by ending his ultimate early, probably trying to kill Genji. But then they just come in with the Graviton, which is honestly kind of wasted because they were already winning the fight by that point. They probably didn't even really need the Graviton anymore, but whatever. Genji's trying his best, but he's not long for this world. And, you know, team's pretty much fucked over here. We're charging in, but we don't really want to go that far either. Like, as soon as I see this happening over here, I just try and bump into something to stop, because, oh god, this is scary when most of our team is dead. McCree comes all the way up here, and we're like, oh, what the fuck, and we just, like, hit him and kill him. Boostio over here, trying to commit suicide, managed to not commit suicide, good job, and now we're just waiting for our team to regroup. We're really close to having Earth Shatter, so that's cool. Our team getting very overzealous, wanting to go in. Roadhog over here being scary, but now falling back over here with the rest of his team. Boostio walking through your shield, decides to get himself killed. This is more Boostio's mistake than yours. Like, you know, I'm gonna say that you could have taken your shield down and just walked up more aggressively because you're not really blocking damage just yet, other than shrapnel. So you could take the shield down and walk up faster, and maybe Lucio doesn't die, but this is much more Lucio's mistake than yours, because he walks forward and dies. On the list of things you don't generally want to earth shatter around, pits are also one of them. Because it doesn't go over the pit, so like right here, it kinda looks like we should get these people. Because, if we can get like the exact moment we push it, like it looks like we should really get this Mercy, but she disappears just behind the line of sight of the pit. If you're gonna ult on a point that's got something like this on it, you have to like stand over on this side and ult past it, because much like corners, it gets weird around pits for the exact same reason that the line of sight can clip it when it doesn't really look like it should. Because I look at that Earth Shatter and I'm like, yeah, that's basically what I expected to happen, but you were probably like, whoa, that should have hit the Mercy. But it doesn't matter, because Soldier's come around the side with Tac Visor and he's killed a bunch of people, including their Mercy, so they can't res. And we won the round, because Soldier killed everybody with Tac Visor, so it didn't even really matter. You know, sometimes we see games, and I'm like, you know, it's hard for me to imagine you personally playing well enough to win this game, because too many things are going wrong. It's hard for me to imagine you losing this game, as long as you're not actively trying to throw, because too much is going wrong on their side. And our team, for the most part, is playing decently. Like, I'm not gonna say they're playing well, it's more the enemy team playing badly in a lot of cases, but it's still hard for me to imagine you losing this game unless you're actively trying to throw the game. And even then, I kind of actually think even if you were trying to throw, you might still win this game. You know, it happens. So, we're in City Center right now. Their soldier has immediately killed themselves. Right now, it doesn't really matter what they have. We should just be walking forward and trying to hold them up the staircase. Like, you know, just walking forward more aggressively, because now they're down a man. Even if they have a Reinhardt, they're still gonna be trying to walk in with a numbers advantage, even if they change to it. Like, we could come up a lot closer up here and just be like, nope, you all fuck off right now. You either come through me right now or you back off. So they decide they're gonna try and come around this way. They've just lost their Zenyatta, so they're basically, right now, they're 4v6. We could just start walking at them at this point, honestly. Like, right now, this is Arya, we could just walk up and start trying to kill her, because we're winning this fight pretty handedly. But McCree appears behind us, and we're like, oh, fucking, what the fuck are you doing? Again, with the McCree. And we just beat him to death. Like, these guys should not be up. Like, we can just go in and start hitting these people. Alright, well, maybe not go in and start hitting them because we're like half HP, but we could just be walking into these people right now because the rest of our team is starting to collapse in on them and they've lost a lot of their team. However, we end up losing our Zenyatta and our Roadhog goes off by himself on the side, trying to flank, and he just gets killed because their Roadhog kills him. So, this is why I'm not going to say our team's playing well, but, they're playing decently for the most part in this game. But, right there, that's why they're not playing well. So again, we're very afraid to, just start walking at these people. We could still just be walking at this Roadhog because he's standing on here by himself, and we're just kind of around the point, not really sure where we should be standing. When you've got the tempo advantage and you're playing Reinhardt, just start walking at them. Because the idea when you're playing Reinhardt is you're relieving pressure from your team, because, you're a big guy, you protect your team, but you're also applying pressure. Just walking at the enemy team with your shield up sometimes makes them go, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, and then they leave. If you feel like you've got the tempo advantage, just start walking forward and trying to pressure them. Cause honestly, for most of this round, I felt like you've had the advantage and you could just be walking at them rather than sitting back and playing more passively. However, I am also the kind of guy that's usually gonna be like, I'm just gonna go in and, I'm a very aggressive Reinhardt player. Oh fucking hell, shut the fuck up, phone. I've been known to push shift and immediately regretted a great many times, so, maybe take it with a grain of salt, but I'd just be walking at people a lot during this round, basically like, yeah, I've got, my team is winning this fight, so you either come in now, you like walk past me and try to fight them, or you just leave right now or I'm gonna walk up and kill you. So McCree comes through here and does fucking I don't know what, like I don't know what the fuck he was planning was gonna happen there. You ever seen the movie Wanted? If you haven't seen the movie Wanted, look up, Wanted movie warehouse scene. I can only imagine McCree thought he was gonna pull off that shit right there, because fucking hell, like, what was that shit? Let's go back and watch that one again in slow motion. Watch this, so he's like, oh, Zenyatta. Fan the hammer. Alright, flashbang the ground. Lucio. Oh, fuck. Missed every single shot. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Oh, God, no. Oh, fuck my face. And that's the story of how McCree regretted his decisions. Like, what the fuck was that? That's one of the most, like, when I first watched this through on, like, 2x speed earlier, I was like, what the fuck is he doing? I just watched this black blur, like, roll on, flashbang the ground, and die. I was like, what the fuck was he planning? Right there, we misclicked our ultimate. It happens, whatever. Try not to misclick your ultimate, but you know that. So, again, we could be standing more aggressively right now. We have the tempo advantage. We could just be standing up at this staircase and making them decide. Yeah, so you have to either just push through me or come a different way around, basically. Right now, our shield is about to break. Just, like, take it down. Don't let your shield break like we do right here. Even if you're blocking something, try not to let your shield break, because then it goes on a cooldown, which is pretty terrible. Because then imagine, like, your shield breaks and then D.Va throws her ultimate in and you're like, oh, fuck, I can't use it for 4 seconds, and then just you die. So right here, we've been pulled into the Graviton. It's really only us in the Graviton. Soldier just walked into it by the look of it over there, but our shield is down, so we can't actually just hold the shield up right now. So right now, the play is basically charge at the enemy team. Because the play usually is hold your shield up and try to protect the people in the Graviton, but that's not really an option right now because our shield just broke, so our other option is basically go into them and try to protect our team by just, like, pushing them away from the Graviton, basically, and, like, try to turn it back around on them. Zenyatta was also using the Transcendence in the Graviton as well, so, whatever. But if you can't hold your shield up, usually the play is charge at them, because that's kind of the only other thing you can really do. McCree up here seems to think he's playing Mercy. It just comes out and then decides he's going to ult this one guy, who looks like he was almost dead anyway since he channeled on him for about half a second and killed him. But anyway, if you can't protect the people in the Graviton with your shield, basically the only other option is charge at them and hope you draw aggro away from the Graviton. And, like, maybe kill people and turn it around on them, Because, you're playing Reinhardt, the idea is you protect people. So, if you can't block for them, you just sort of want to try and take the aggro away from them. If you can't block with your shield, you try and block with your body, basically. So, last round, we do win this game. This is not a very long game, I know, despite being king of the hill as well, right? Isn't that incredible? Like, that's how quick this game was. That's how easy this game was. So, now, enemy team's probably pretty tilted at this point. They still don't have a Lucio, so we get here way ahead of time, but we don't really know what way they're gonna come from. There's a lot of ways people decide to come on this map. I generally assume they're gonna come out of the archways first, because that's where most people try to. Because they basically usually try to seem to do exactly what we do, and just run like that. Sometimes they go like that. Very, very rarely they'll go up the low path on the far right. But I would just, like, walk, because again, they still don't have a Lucio, so we get here way earlier than them, so we can try and get superior positioning. I just walk at the archway more aggressively and see if they start coming up this way. And if not, falling back onto the point, because, again, like, we've been winning this whole time as well, like, basically at this point, I'd be like, I don't think they can possibly beat us, so I'm just gonna walk at them and start trying to pressure them immediately, because they don't really seem to know what to do about it. Especially since they still don't have a Reinhardt, so it's very hard for them to just walk at us as Reinhardt as well. This is the thing with, if one team doesn't have a Reinhardt, they're at a huge disadvantage to the team that has the Reinhardt, because it's so much harder to just walk through a Reinhardt if you don't have one. And there's always the risk as well that if you try and walk through the Reinhardt, he's going to earth shatter you and there's nothing you can do about it. Obviously the round's just started, so we're not about to do that, but basically, when you know they don't have a Reinhardt, or you don't think they're gonna have a Reinhardt, you can walk at them a lot more aggressively and be like, alright, what about it, bitch? What are you gonna do? Basically. Cause, people focus on, trying to protect, relieve pressure when they're playing Reinhardt. They're like, alright, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna protect people, I'm gonna sit really far back and just protect my team. Part of it is also applying pressure as Reinhardt. Especially if you're on attack, you naturally are going to have to advance into them. But don't be afraid to just walk at them and be like, alright, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about me walking at you? And if they don't have a Reinhardt, they're usually gonna be, I'm not gonna do anything about it, officer, I'm sorry. So yeah. Again, though, I'm a very aggressive guy. When I play Reinhardt, I play to hit people. It's always so depressing when I look at my Reinhardt stats, because it's always something like my damage is in the top 5%, but then I look at my deaths and they're in damage blocked and damage done are really, really high. But then I look at my deaths and it's top 70% of players, and I'm like, oh god, how did it come to this? But I mean, I got into Masters, so I must be doing something right. Now, obviously, the next logical step would be to do that without dying as well, but fuck, man, that's hard. I just want to smash. So, up here, this is happening. I wouldn't even try and come up here. We think we're about coming up here to try and help with this. It's not really your area. Just, let D.Va deal with that. She should be able to handle that situation. Someone else can go up there. That's not your area. What you should be doing instead is just standing over here or standing over here and just starting to apply pressure and be like, alright, you are not going to come through this way without a fight. Soldier, someone else can deal with. That's not really your area up there. So, excuse me, Jesus. Sorry, Jesus. So, Mei popped out behind us. Our D.Va just bumped Mei off, up here we see she bumped Mei off, but then she died. So what it seems like happened was she bumped Mei off and then went, oh fuck, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock you in the fucking ocean, and went out to try and save her is what seems like it happened. But, so we're beating up this Roadhog right now. I fully support this decision. He comes up this narrow channel at you. Just get down here and start beating him. Unfortunately, we don't have Fire Strike up, so it's going to be difficult for us to kill him. Basically, as soon as you see him start taking a breather, the idea is you charge him, but we've already charged him now, so we obviously can't do that. As soon as you see him start taking a breather, you just start leaving, because it's just not feasible that you're going to kill him anymore. But I would have done the exact same thing. I would have also pinned that Roadhog. So we are very close to having Earth Shatter. We can see our Zenyatta getting bullied around right here. And I know we're kind of low HP, and that's why we start going over to this HP kit. But, we should really just stick with Zenyatta. He's already healing us. And, we see Zenyatta right here, then we split off from him, and their team is just get the Zenyatta. We didn't need to get the small HP kit. That's only 75 hit points. It's not the end of the world. Whatever. We should just, stick with our team. He's gonna heal us. We should just stick with him and let him heal us up instead. Because we split off, he might still die regardless. Obviously we don't know. But generally, unless you're fighting somebody at that exact moment, picking up the HP kit is not that urgent. We should have just stuck with Zenyatta and let him heal us up. So we Earth Shatter them. We almost fuck up the self-destruct as well, but we didn't really know it was coming. McCree's up to some shit again. Fuck if I know. Soldier just killed himself somehow. Whatever, right? What the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, so we didn't know the self-destruct was coming, but we did almost fuck it up, but we didn't know it was coming, so whatever. I would have also Earth Shattered right there as well, so, I'm not going to really say anything about that. I think it was the correct play. So, Now we're waiting for the enemy team to regroup. Our diva just went and killed themselves somehow. And lots of ultimates flying in right here. What I will say about this is... I don't know, like, does it wear off in there? I'm kind of having trouble telling. Like, when does his Transcendence end? Because he's using Transcendence right now. Does it end like... It ends like when we get pulled in here. I kind of can't tell because I'm colorblind, so I'm having trouble picking out all the fucking colors that are happening right now. So you tell me, if he was Transcendencing, you probably want to take your shield down because you aren't, like, if he's using Transcendence, you'll live through it anyway. You would hold it up if something like High Noon is being pointed at you. But if Transcendence is happening right there, you don't need to actually have the shield up because that'll probably carry you through it. Because, like, unless the Roadhog gets, like, right in your fucking face and, like, every single bullet's gonna be hitting you, which is not really what's happening right now. Now he's, like, up in our face, but our shield is broken at this point, so, well, it's not broken, but it's really, really low. I don't know, because I couldn't pick out if the Transcendence was actually still happening from looking at it. I'm colorblind. It fucks with me sometimes. So, you know, if it was there... Don't hold the shield up, but if it wasn't there, then yeah, hold the shield up. So when I see somebody get hooked, and I'm playing Reinhardt, there's like two things I try and do. If possible, you try and pin them, but you have to know the hook is coming because the wind-up is too long. If I see somebody gets hooked and I'm right next to them, I try and block with the shield instead of trying to like just hit the person, because priority one for me is just like try and make sure that person doesn't die. And, like, trying to slide the shield between the Reinhardt, the Roadhog, and whoever he's hooked is usually the best way to do that. It does take a little getting used to, because you kind of have to put the shield up and get it in position really quickly. But I would have tried to put the shield in between the McCree and the, Roadhog. Jesus Christ, whatever. So we try to ult these two people. I would have done the exact same thing. Unfortunately, Mercy gets bubbled right as we do it, so she doesn't get hit, which is unfortunate because she's the one we were really trying to get. However, she has still died anyway. Unfortunate timing. But we've basically won at this point. People are rushing in to touch the point. We just have to kill them. Hold the shield up right now because we're low HP. Don't even, like, take it down. Like, oh god, that was scary, but whatever. So yeah, it's hard to imagine losing this game because, like, you saw, it went really fucking easy. And this is the play of the game. It's where Soldier kills the entire team. I thought he went there on the backside, but I guess he just ulted right behind us. Whatever, got the same thing done. Fucking hell. Let's watch that bit at the end. Oh my god, fuck, he's using the tire right on top of me. Jesus Christ. Oh god, ooh, not even close, baby. Ooh. You know he was like, gee, not even close. Easy, actually. The only thing that really stands out to me in this game is you could position a lot more aggressively in these situations. You could be trying to apply more pressure just with your presence. This is something you don't really do on defense because, well, I mean, I guess you kind of do, you know, because, you know, you just stand in the choke point and you try and hold them in the choke point, but when you can just walk at the other team and start applying pressure to them, especially if they don't have a Reinhardt. It makes it very difficult for them to really stop you walking at them. Unless they can just break your shield really fucking fast, which, I mean, happens. But usually, if they don't have a Reinhardt, you can just walk at them. And basically, just in general, like, if we get there first, if they don't have a Lucio, we have a Lucio, we get there faster than them. That means we get to have the superior position, so we can just sort of set up before them and try to, like, make choke points out of things and, like, set up in a better place, right? And just, like, if you think you have the tempo advantage, just start walking at them and being like, alright, you either leave now, or we fight and we kill you because we have the advantage. You know. And, like, more often than not, just walking at the enemy team with your shield up is gonna scare them. Like, you'd be surprised how effective that can be. I've, like, taken points. Like, I've taken, like, the first checkpoint on Eichenwald. I've just, like, walked at the other Reinhardt with my shield up, and he's been like, fuck. He's, for some reason, felt really pressured by it, and he's just, like, given up the choke point and let us walk through the gate. So, you know, don't don't necessarily be afraid to just, like, walk at them and start applying pressure. If you think you could die for doing it, obviously don't do it. This is something you do when you think you have the advantage. And sometimes you're going to think you have the advantage, and sometimes you're going to die and be like, shit. You know, and that's a learning experience, and you're like, I guess that doesn't mean I have the tempo advantage yet. So yeah. And if you're up, if you're up a person or two, just start walking at them, because now you have the number advantage, so you've naturally got the advantage, so you just start walking at them and make them decide what they're gonna do. You force them to make the decision, am I going to fight or am I going to run? And if they decide they want to fight, they're usually going to be in a worse position for you than you, and you should win the fight if they decide that that's what they're going to do. Or they're just going to decide to leave, and that accomplishes the same thing. That's the only thing that really stood out to me. Like, shield management, there's a few instances where we're holding it up and we don't, need to be holding it up. If nobody's standing behind you, you don't need to hold it up. You can just stand out of the way yourself, right? And then if they start trying to come through, you stand in the way again with your shield up. But if no one's behind you, you don't usually need to have the shield up. And if nothing really scary is there yet, you generally still don't need to be holding it up. Because if it's not that scary, like, you don't need to be shielding it. You could just stand out of the way and, like, right? If it's not actually scary, you could just be having it regenerate over that time, because you're still not really blocking anything. The idea is, basically, they want to be shooting at your teammates, but you make them shoot at the shield instead. So, if there's no teammates behind you, you're giving them something to shoot at instead by holding the shield up when there's nothing there to actually block. So, that's the idea anyway. So some shield management. Just don't be afraid to try and apply more pressure. Because relieving pressure is only part of it. Playing a tank basically is about confident occupation of space. You don't always need to be passive. You can be aggressive and walk at them and be like, what about it, bitch? But those are the things that stood out to me most in this game. This is like a really easy game. It's hard for me to imagine you losing this game. Like, even if you were trying to actively throw the game, I think you might still win this game. It's just one of those games, basically. So it's kind of hard to pull too much out of it, especially when you've got McCree doing whatever the fuck McCree was trying to do. But whatever. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.